Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to a New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila, as this will be seen on both channels. I am so happy to welcome a guest tonight, uh, Julie Wise, who is a viewer turned friend. And we're going to have a conscious conversation this evening. And I'm so excited. Welcome, Julie, to coming and having a conversation with me. I really appreciate you coming and
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super happy to be here.
okay,
A little
awesome.
nervous, but happy.
Yeah, that's okay. You know, that happens to everybody, I think, at first, but honestly, it's really no big deal. It's just you and me having a conversation. We'll share it with friends later. That's it.
Okay.
But I'm really excited because we have met in Zoom before, and you shared with me that you're an artist and that you are painting. And then the first thing I hear this evening is that you've realized that your artwork is encoded.
It is.
And I thought you already knew that, or I would have told you. Yes, I am so happy that that you've come to that on your own. So talk to me. Tell me how you discovered this.
So I can show you the painting where I
I would
figured it
love.
out.
Oh, I would love
Okay.
that.
Are you able to see it?
I am. Oh, I have
Okay.
chills.
So I was working on this piece. My process has always been pretty um kind of dialed out. I would burn some Palo Santo because I love the smell of it and kind of clear the space, clear my head. Sometimes I would listen to music, sometimes not. Um, and then just ask what wanted to come through. And I will see a color or a shape or something, and then I begin from there. And then it just kind of weaves its way into um, other colors wanting to participate. And so I just trust it. I don't ask a lot of questions. If I do ask questions, then those are the ones I usually paint over or pitch. So I try to stay in the space of just not questioning any of it. And so when I finished that one though, I had started the habit of asking, is it finished? Asking my inner knowing, is it finished? And this time I heard, yes, it's encoded. And I had never heard that before. And I kind of paused and I was like, oh, okay, it's encoded. So what does that mean? So since then, I think it, I think everything I've painted since then has been a lot more, um, like you can feel it a lot more. There's a lot more frequency to it. I have a few more if you'd like to see them.
Oh, I would. I would.
Okay, okay. Again, I'll try to get these into the screen here.
Oh, you're doing a great job. Oh, I love that one. That there's so much depth in that.
Mhm.
It's like it feels to me like a magical forest that I could just get lost in.
It's a chamber, actually.
Ah, oh, wow.
Yep. Whoops. Okay, I'll do a couple more here.
Okay. Oh my. Um, I see some beings in this one.
Oh, yeah. I think they all have beings in them. There's one in the green one also. It's just that you have to know exactly where to look and at what angle, and then you see it, and you can't unsee it at that point.
Right. Oh my.
But this one is extremely deep. Yeah.
No, I can
This is
tell.
one of my favorites. This is where I get stuck. I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna have to sell these. I just I would prefer to have them hanging all over my house, but I can't do that because I can't share it that way. And it really is
No,
about
that's true.
sharing
That's
the
true.
codes and the frequency.
Oh, that's a multi-dimensional one for sure.
Hmm.
Oh
This is
my,
the ABA.
Julie.
Yeah. So
Okay, so have all of these come in since we last chatted?
those four have, yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my.
This is an
Okay.
older one I was looking at a little bit ago. This is, I think, the last one I might show, but this is in oil. The other ones are in acrylic, but this was some just from a couple of years ago, oil I was playing around with. And I always felt like there was more to it, but then I was like, I don't know what else I want to add to it. Whoops, hold on. I got a pop up here on my screen. I got to get that out of the way. So this one, though, I was looking at it, every single direction you turn it in, it's an entirely different energy or dimension. I don't know how to explain it. It looks so different depending on which angle you look at it in.
Yeah, and it actually really could go in any one of those.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
Well, in the very first angle that you held it, I felt as though I saw a being in that one too.
was it this
Uh,
or
no,
the other way?
no, to that, yes, right there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Well,
So
I that is so awesome, Julie.
thank you. So for the titles and the names coming through is the part that's taking me a bit, but yeah, now I know what they are finally. And I've been painting for uh, I started like at the beginning of my awakening about 14 years ago, like getting back into painting. I was always an artist when I was younger, and then I stopped for a while. But what was I gonna say? Just lost my train of thought. Anyway, um, so I never knew like what the art was. I just did it. And now I look back and I'll see things online and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I painted that 10 years ago, or I painted that 5 years ago, or it's consciousness coming through. And it's something I'm remembering on some level. I'm channeling, I'm the conduit for. But yeah, that's what it is. And
Well, I'll be honest with you. Several years ago, I saw a quote by Prince. This is prior to his death.
I
Um,
loved peanuts.
somebody uh, had asked him why, because he often would be up all hours of the night and into the wee hours of the morning. And, why was the question. And he would get up out of bed even and
Mhm.
create. And the question was asked, why is that? And he famously said that if he didn't get up and create the song that was coming through, Michael Jackson would.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Huh.
I always thought
Yeah.
that was a very interesting quote in that, just to your point about the consciousness,
Hmm.
right, coming through. Um and it made sense to me now in terms of we are all one and singular all at the same time, because the only thing that really separates us is our vessels and the time we've spent in them,
Hmm.
having totally separate experiences. So I love that, though. I love that you now are getting that information, and it's a, remembrance. Now, you also shared with me that you've started a new Facebook page, but you're not ready to really announce that just yet because of waiting for Facebook, right? Or
So yeah, it's my poetry page. I write poetry also,
right,
and I I tried to make my personal page promotional, like a professional page, so that I could promote the poetry page, just so people could follow it.
right,
Um, it's not. I didn't monetize it or anything like that. I just want people to be able to follow it. I'm just
right,
trying to get the frequency out there again, you know.
right.
And so it's been like 3 weeks, and Facebook has not allowed me to make it a professional page, and so I don't know
Right.
I don't know why they've kind of stamped me like that, but anyway, it's called Flame Poetry, and it's channeled also. So I will sit in stillness and just ask what needs to come through. I'll hear the first sentence, and then I just write
Oh, I
until
love.
I feel like it's done. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, see, that's okay. So I'm very impressed with the fact that you're not questioning this, which is good, right? A lot of folks kind of get in their head and, about it coming through. I'm so glad to hear this, that you're allowing that. Um, and so we'll make sure that links to everything that you want to include will be in the show more section of this video, once they are all available, because like with your website, it's not quite ready, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Hopefully within the next month. It's
Right.
it's going to be a priority after next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, so, well, in terms of your poetry, I didn't ask this before we started, but did you bring any to share?
Um, it's all like one
Well, you don't
second.
have to if you
Maybe.
don't want to. I should have asked you before we started, but it just came in. I just wasn't sure if you wanted to share some or.
Hmm.
I
A lot
also
of it's
wanted
in
to
my
ask you.
phone, and I'm talking on my phone right now.
Oh, I got you.
But
No worries.
I
No.
do have some written, and a little bit ago, because I like to post at least once a day on that page. And a little bit ago, I was like, oh, I haven't written yet today. And so I went through my poetry book, and I found some things that I had no recollection of writing. And this is how I know it's channeled. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. Like, I don't actually remember writing this. And unfortunately, until recently, I wasn't dating anything. And so then I'm like, what was happening in my life at that time? I have no idea. So,
Right.
but I do have some things,
I
but
gotcha. Okay. Well, um, perhaps like I said, we'll make sure that a link to everything goes in the show more section.
okay.
Um, and I want to share with everyone that we only know each other because of Jason's material,
Hmm.
Jason Gray.
Yep.
And so I want to ask you this. Do you feel as though since you've been listening, reading Jason, because I know you've read quite a bit of Jason's material, you don't just listen to my videos.
I read all of his work.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's been helpful for you in terms of helping you remember?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I really don't. I don't think my life would be the same had I not started to follow, as you would say, the nudges that I would get when I would hear his or when I would read through his writing. In my whole body I would feel activations. And I didn't know at first what it was. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? And I'm starting to put the puzzle pieces together. So we'll say that as well, because that terminology I think is absolutely perfect here. But um, there are things that, like I said, that I've seen him post picture wise that I've painted, or things that I will think that he will write. So this is how the consciousness works. It's all in the field, just like
Right.
you talked about with Prince. It's all in the field. It's just that you grab it out or you don't. And when you have the flame awakening, and I commented this on one of his posts the other day, when you have that flame awakening and you realize what you are and you tap into that, then you realize you've hit creative, like, unlock, like, full on. If you want to create something, it's endless. It's limitless what you can do. So
I have to agree with you now, and I would like to say for my part, what I keep being shown is that And I want to make this very clear for any that might hear our conversation later. Each of us remember when we are ready. Personally, I know there's not a doubt in my mind that a lot of Jason's work has done the very same thing for me that you spoke on. I mean, one of the reasons my own guidance is that I don't read his work until I'm recording it has to do with just that.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. But number two, I'm guided to record certain things at certain times and not before. In other words, which is why I like to, for folks to be able to go if they feel drawn and make their own decisions as to what they're ready to read of his work. Because I'm convinced that each of us, if we pay attention to our nudges and we do what we are drawn to do, there's a particular progression, a particular method and way that is perfect for each. We're not late. We haven't missed the boat. If you've read something and it didn't do for you what it's done for somebody else, that's okay. Because it's all for me personally, it's a very personal journey for each of us. There is no, you got to do this step and then that step and then this step and then that step. And if I used to think that that was the way it is, but now there's only that's the only thing I can come up with that explains why it is the way it is for me. My puzzle pieces so far have shown me that it's all about where the psyche is in the moment and what we're ready for.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows why it is that way, except that it just seems to be that way for everyone. We've all been programmed and conditioned in various and sundry ways, and all completely differently from each other. Everybody just as heavily as the next guy, but just in a completely different and unique manner. And so I love the fact that you are recognizing and not afraid to say what's happening for you. That's quite lovely. So you said that I think you mentioned earlier that you started awakening about 14 years ago. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. I did. Um, I took Reiki, like I became a Reiki practitioner. And so the Reiki one, is a little bit basic, but you kind of just understand how to work with it and you get like introduced to it and things like that. My Reiki two, though, like I had the best teacher because she was a registered nurse and she ran a hospice care center and she attuned all of the hospice volunteers for Reiki so that they could do it on people as they were passing. And so it's just a beautiful way to use the energy. And so during our Reiki 2 training, she played a guided meditation for us. And it was so profound. So we're listening to this guided meditation. We're all in the room. There's like 10 or 15 of us maybe. Everybody's eyes are closed. And you get to the end of the guided meditation and you come face to face with like your spirit guide. And you don't know that that's what's coming. Like it's this whole like kind of slow walking up to it. And when we got to that part, I heard all these people go when they realized who their guide was. And for me, when I got to that part, I saw nothing but black void. And then in that void, I saw like this blue kind of amorphous energy that sort of moved, didn't I mean, it just was, is the only way I could explain it. And afterward, the instructor was asking us, what our experiences were, and some people were like, oh, I saw my brother, I saw, my grandpa. And I said, I just saw a color. And another woman in my class said, yeah, I just saw a color also. She saw red though. And so we were like, what does that mean? And she goes, I don't know. so so until now, I haven't understood even what that was. I think that that's part of the brilliance of it too. It's like you can have an experience like that and not know. And then it can be 14 years later, literally, when before I start to figure it out and understand it. And it's just mind blowing to me. But
No, I
anyway,
love that. I love that. And it's kind of interesting to me that your color was blue. That's
because you,
well,
this
tell me more about that if you don't mind.
about that it's in itself or since then.
Well, yeah, I was going to say about since then. You said you were now figuring it out.
Because yeah, so another one of Jason's posts, because it's true how many experiences I've had because I've followed what he writes. And it was about the 13.13 hertz frequency for binaural beats. And so I went on YouTube and I found a video, and it's just a little 5 minute. So I'm lying down, I'm all zoned out and everything. And I start to hear the beats and everything. And then I get into that space of where I'm just kind of letting go. And I see that blue energy moving again. And I'm like, okay, this is what it is. Like this is part of my flame, I think, or when my flame emerged. I have no idea about that yet still, but yeah. So that's part of that flame energy.
Well, the reason I just find it quite interesting because my very first experience with regression, everybody in the room was having these really cool experiences of being, the opposite sex and a different time, some in a different planet or a different, whole different thing. And I was floating in a void, and all I could really see was color,
Mhm.
and it was blue.
Mhm.
And and I've had a lot of experiences now that involve blue. Blue's always been my favorite color, that sort of thing. So I was remarking on the similarities there. And and I mean it even goes quite a bit deeper for me in that I really don't recall my dreams. I know that I dream because I feel like I have, right? But I don't recall them except for very, very rarely. And when I do, they are quite vivid. And I had a very vivid dream of being led to a classroom by a being that was blue, but it was like this being was blue flame. There wasn't, and I was following behind them, and it had the a humanoid shape, but it was such a brilliant and flame like, uh I don't know, it was very interesting. And so I've had a lot of experiences in meditation as well with the blues. So I just find it, I don't know, synchronistic and interesting that we were drawn to each other, first of all, because you reached out to me, and here we have this in common. I don't know, it's very, just very, do I know what to make of it? No. I have heard others refer to the blue flame of source. So I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, anything about that or anything, but I find it very interesting. Wow. Okay. So So you are now embarking on these with these paintings, knowing now that they are encoded.
Mhm.
So you'll be offering the paintings. Is that correct? You'll be offering the paintings for sale?
They will be, yeah, when I get my website going, because they are energy to that they work on whoever buys them. It's when you sit with them for a while, some of them, I mean, they're just so deep. When you live with the pieces, you'll see something at first. A couple months later, you notice something else about the painting. It's just like it begins to work in your field, and it goes to who it's meant to go to. So it's
Right. Well, I'm a big proponent, as you might guess, of going and doing what you feel drawn to go and do.
mhm.
And so absolutely. Well, I love that. And when you're ready, make sure to get me a copy of the link to where we can send folks, and we'll make sure to get that out there for you. I like the idea. I'm not gonna your words were that you are having a hard time letting go of them. I would like to encourage you to look into making lithographic prints so that you hold the original and
With the
offer.
graphic prints of the piece.
Yes.
No,
And no.
no, because they're one of a kind originals.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. Yeah, I'll be selling them as one of a kind originals
Oh,
only.
I see. Okay. So they're meant for someone specific, whoever's drawn
Absolutely.
to them.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, see, you know that. You absolutely know that.
Yeah.
Well,
I've
that's
always felt
awesome.
that way. I have some oil paintings from a few years ago, some smaller ones, and I did prints of them, but the prints never sold, but it just never felt right to me to make
Ah,
copies of anything because I always kind of felt like everything was its own
ah,
and it didn't need
okay.
to be it didn't need to be like how like I don't know if this is a good example or not, but if you get a tattoo, you don't want to see the same tattoo on 10 other people.
I see. I gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
that then would speak to that encoding being for someone specific.
Mhm.
That's which is very interesting.
Yeah.
It changes the whole point of it
Yeah.
in many ways. See, now what I was thinking of is that if it's encoded, then it would be for more than one person, but obviously not.
Mhm.
And the fact that you were very quick, that that,
Yeah.
and that came through very clearly to me, that you absolutely know that part of it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. I love that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of how I worded it on the website I'm building. It's each painting is a code, each viewer is the key. So that's what it is. They go together. Whoever purchases it, the frequencies unlock for them, and then what they unlock, it's
Right.
it's from there. Yeah,
Wow. I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, uh I know you've got a lot going on, coming up here. You've got a move that's happening for you. You've got your website that's happening. And I wanted to share with you that, see, how long ago has it been since we first connected? Because I want to say that there's something quite different about you. So
Oh yeah, there
I,
definitely is. I think it's been just since June. Didn't we first talk in like maybe early June or something?
it maybe I don't, but it's like it's almost, I almost didn't recognize you
Yeah,
when.
I am not the same. I really am not. I experienced a death, like a literal death that woke me up quite a bit because I've had some memories that, you know how, I don't know if this happens for you or not, but what happens for me is they just appear. And then when they appear, I know it's real. It's something that happened. And this particular one was pretty traumatic. And it lasted for a couple days where I re-experienced the scenario and what happened and fully like went through a grieving process of the death. And so yeah, it's been like, I think I died about 3 times in July, honestly.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty big month. So
Wow. Well, that gives a whole new meaning to the dark night of the soul. And
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, that would explain why I feel as though that you look completely different to me and you feel completely different from the gal I met at the last time we met in Zoom,
Yeah.
which honestly was the first time we met in Zoom, but still, I was not expecting the young lady that appears before me now. You know, I was expecting the gal that I met the first time.
Yeah. She
And
was
so,
shy. I've been guided to not hide anymore. So
oh,
I'm
that's wonderful.
choosing to not hide. Yeah. And try to be as authentic as I can. And um, going through the deaths that I went through in July, my perspective of everything has changed, and the way, I kind of behave and what feels right to me and what doesn't feel right to me. And you know how it is. There's a lot that doesn't feel right in this world. There's a whole lot.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because honestly, I too, I feel very much like you said, a lot of folks don't realize that I am as authentic in this Zoom room as I am out on the street. It's all the same to me. There's
Yeah.
no point in being any kind of different. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, I don't got time to try to act one way over here and some way over there. I don't got time for that. That's just ridiculous. And I love being me no matter what because I see the magic everywhere. And now I don't know if this is a function of being 63 and knowing I can get away with it, but I point out the magic that I see everywhere. And you know, folks engaging in telepathy and they don't realize it, I call attention to it. I do.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely do. I say, oh, you pulled that right out of her head or whatever. Because here's the thing. In my view, we all are connected, like I said, all one and yet singular. And the only thing that separates us is the time we've been in these vessels. And that's it. That's all. And every single being on this planet, bar none, has been programmed and conditioned in their own very unique way. Most of it pretty screwed up to be sure. And as that programming and conditioning was installed, multiple types of trauma ensued from it. And so I got to be honest with you, that makes dealing with anybody, even somebody who's nasty and mean on the street or whatever, in a store, having a bad day, whatever, it makes realizing that about another being, it makes it so much easier. For me, it certainly does.
Mhm.
Because what I see is a traumatized human who hasn't realized yet that they're programmed and conditioned, but they will because it's coming for us all at some point when the psyche is ready. And so, by pointing out the magic or realizing that that is the case, and not being quiet about it whenever I am in public, which, granted isn't that often, but hey, um, I don't know. It makes a difference, I think, in the world for all of us. And I don't even really have to open my mouth much anymore because you emanate your awakening. We carry our fields, our awakened fields with us when we go, everywhere we go.
Mhm.
And the being I see before me now, that change in you, you carry all of that encoding in your field in everything you do. We can't help but affect others' fields as we move through this life. There's no way around it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
just love that. I love that. I love that for you.
me
Uh,
too. It's
you're,
been fun. It's
oh,
been hard, but
good.
it's been worth it.
Okay. Well,
Worth
yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure that dark night of the soul is not easy. It really isn't. And moving through the trauma that is there because trust me, it still comes up for me. I have stuff come up for me all the time. But it's just a lot easier now, like I said, to sit with whatever it is, whatever those feelings are, and just allow them so that they can leave my field because I thank it all,
Mhm.
because I wouldn't be who I am without those experiences.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
all have purpose. Yeah.
they really did. Well, I want you to be able to share whatever you'd like to share. So, what would you like to chat about? Is there anything specific with your experience that you want to share, or?
We hit a lot of the high points from lately. I'm trying to remember. Because so much has been happening.
Yeah, because it's been at least a month, isn't it?
I think it was in June,
Was it
early to
in
mid
June?
June when we talked. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So it
Yeah.
has been a while.
Yeah. And I was still kind of in at that point in my life, buying into fear more than trust and knowing, so not so much in flow state. Right now, I get to the point where I have to remind myself to dial in on things like Julie, like look at your checkbook because I just don't like I don't know. I just am like, no, if this is what's needed, then that's what's needed, and I don't worry. So
Well,
staying in
I
that.
know that feeling because like I said, I keep being uh shown that, well, because part of that, I think, Julie, wouldn't you agree that part of the programming and conditioning has been that abundance means piles of cash in the bank. And
Yeah.
that's actually not what abundance is. It's more like having what one needs when one needs it.
Hmm.
I'll never forget when my housemate Lisa Flamino Rush, her guidance showed her that and said exactly that it's having what you need when you need it. Anything more than that is hoarding.
Yeah.
And then immediately when she said that to me, I had the picture of the elite, those that think they own everything and want, everybody to have nothing and be happy. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, that makes so much sense. That's just hoarding. And
Hmm.
does it make them happy? No. apparently not.
Mm.
And ever since then, realizing that, oh yeah, I've been what folks would call poor all my life, to be honest with you, and I survive on Social Security, which is $1,500 a month, and that is all. But I don't go without a thing.
Mhm.
And so that's a true statement that abundance is having what one needs when it's needed. And the universe is going to provide. I have found that to be true in every case. And so tell me, with what you just said, do you find that to be so for you?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up very, very poor. Like, for a while, my mom was on welfare and she had to get food stamps and stuff because she was raising me and my three brothers on her own.
Right,
And so she needed assistance and she didn't stay in that. She was able to move out of that, but we never, were middle class even until I was out of college. Like my mom never made it out of kind of lower class
right,
income. But I have a friend who travels a lot. She's been all over the world. And she was telling me about when she went to India. And she said that she would go to the areas where there was the most poverty. And she said it actually was the best experience because they were the happiest people. Because to them, that's their living situation had nothing to do with what made them joyful and made them happy. And so that has stuck with me that it's circumstances, it's all your perspective, as
yep,
I've heard you say a lot of times, and they don't let it get them down. So
right. Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's so true. That's so true. I never realized that we were poor until somebody else told me we were.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, that's true statement because just like with what you said with your mom, my mom was a single parent of three, and exactly the same thing happened. She had to have assistance, and well, and then I turned around and needed assistance as well when I was raising my son, and so but I didn't even realize when I was a kid that we were poor until some other kid told
Hmm.
me that we were poor.
Yeah, it's great how kids do that, huh?
Right,
I
right,
didn't know
right,
until junior high when none of my clothes were good enough for my classmates. That was when I figured it out. Yeah, yeah.
right, right. And so that is and that's just something that I think again it's a programmed, conditioned thing, right? And so realizing that everybody has had it to some degree or another, and in very unique to them ways, has made my life oh so much better to realize that as we confront that within ourselves, not everybody's on that path. I get that too.
Mhm.
Um, it just had made my life that much easier. Well, that would explain the difference in you, because you felt much lighter when I saw you when we first entered into the Zoom room. And like I said, I almost thought, wait a minute, am I meeting with the same person I thought I was meeting with? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I realized we only met the one time, but no,
Yeah.
I'm serious. You looked and felt completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel different.
Well,
What
that's
happened?
really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
What have you been up to?
well, I've been right here lately. I've actually had a lot of trying to gather Jason's work to make sure that I safeguard it because, as you know, he's no longer a part of that group. You do realize that, right?
Mhm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. And so that has really consumed quite a bit of my time. When I wasn't nursing a headache, I tell you what, the for me, very sensitive to the Earth's electromagnetic fields.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very, I would never have believed this, and I don't, but apparently I feel the collective quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
How do
so
you release that then?
well,
Because
I
I think that for me was the key. I would get migraines, but now I know if I don't release that energy, that's when I'll get a migraine. And so
well,
maybe
then share with me, what did you do to release it? Do you have anything you could share with me as to how you?
no, I don't. Sorry.
No, that's okay because I all right now, all I know to do is say, "This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too."
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, because
I think whatever works for you to get it out, if it's being active or something like that, I don't know, but I think it's stuck energy,
well, I
really.
think you're right. I think you're right. That feels right to me, and I haven't found the proper way yet to do that. I have physical limitations,
Hmm.
and so I haven't found the proper way to do that yet. But
You're a
it
healer though, right?
well, yeah, as
No,
much
I'm saying, yeah, are there ways that you can
well,
release
if
that?
you're speaking on Reiki, yes, I am a Reiki master slash instructor, all those kinds of things, and I have more than one. Uh, I have Usui, I have Karuna, and I have Holy Fire all under my belt, but none of that has worked. I don't know why that is. That's why I said I don't know exactly what all this is, right? Except to say that I do feel as though it has a lot to do with the electromagnetic fields of the earth. And there's a lot going on with the communication, in my view, between the earth and the sun right now. There's a lot of communication going on between the two of them.
Hmm.
And it really seems to play a part, at least, in what happens with my own personal pain level. And so, really about all I can do is lie very still, for the most part, and continue saying this too shall pass. Um, I don't know anything else at the moment to try. I don't take over the counter medications. They wreak havoc on my body. I was part of what the disability is had to do with my spine, and so I used to have to take pain medications. In 2013, 2014, I was on 14 different medications. Five of those were for pain.
Wow.
I'm not on any of those now. I don't take any of that.
Mhm.
And just sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's when it's like this, it can get pretty rough.
Yeah.
And some of it has to do with, I know there's some heavy duty purging going on the planet for everybody,
Mhm.
including myself. And I know that that's part of it. But again, that communication between the sun and the earth also plays a role, a huge role for me. We had a very large corona hole open today.
Oh, wow.
Facing Earth. When it's facing Earth from the sun and it's open, that's a full-on blast of communication.
Oh, wow.
And so it's the last couple of days it's been and a lot of last week as well, to be honest with you, off and on. It was pretty. That's why when I disappear from the channel, that's what's going on
Oh, okay.
generally. Yeah.
How do
So
you know about the solar blast then? Is that from the Schumann residence? Like
um
residence? Follow that? Is that where you see it?
well, I it used to be that I would follow the suspicious observers page because he does a daily report on what's coming in on the sun.
Okay.
But yes, I am a member of the Schumann resonance group, so I do see what's happening there. But generally, I don't have to know. I can tell
Wow.
what's happening. And
Mhm.
sometimes of late, now here's the other thing. I don't particularly care for this, but I've suspected sometimes I think there's some pretty powerful, I want to say, weapons that are being used out there,
Mhm.
and they direct weather with these weapons. It's the same, and that too affects me.
Like,
Um, well, in order to drive some of these weather systems, they use frequency for that. And so when they are directing that frequency as they're directing these weather systems, well, that affects me.
mm,
Um, I also have suspected, I can't prove this, but I've suspected that there are things going on just off planet that that's part of the reason that they're doing all the cover up with the chemtrails and things like that.
mhm.
And I think there are things that are happening right above the planet that may have something to do with some of what I experience. I can't prove any of that, but
Yeah.
it's just a feeling that I have,
Mm.
and a communication with myself has proven to be true about that.
Mm.
Yeah. So, there very early on in my awakening, I started asking myself questions and I was getting answers that I didn't care for.
Oh, like what?
Um,
Things you needed to do or?
no, no, other portions of me that reside in other realms,
Oh, okay.
and what these portions are doing,
Oh, okay.
and uh, and and sometimes the things that are happening affect me here. I like I said, I know that sounds a little convoluted, but I'm not getting this from somebody else. I don't ask these questions out loud. I ask them of myself and I get answered. And then I used to, well, at first, when that first started happening, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, right. Sure. Okay. So then I started asking for some confirmation in the physical. Okay. Where I live I live outside of a major metropolitan area. Um, Imagine, you've asked yourself to show yourself an animal that would never be able to show themselves on command in your backyard as you're sitting there.
Oh, okay. So this is some pretty high level stuff there. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I thought I was seeing a mouse. I was like, yeah, sure, that's a mouse. This little chipmunk stood up on a stump and looked dead at me and said, I'm no mouse.
What? Wow.
That I asked for confirmation. I mean, I've never seen a chipmunk. I'd lived in that house for almost 8 years at that point.
Wow.
I'd never seen any kind of chipmunk anywhere around there.
Hmm.
And yeah, okay. So that's when I started knowing that there was more to what was happening than what I thought. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I was asking some of my questions out loud, and then I started thinking, wait a minute. Everything hears you, your phone, your computer, everything hears you. So if somebody's trying to set you up with something, they could make things happen. So I started asking them internally only, not out loud,
Yeah.
and getting results like
Mhm.
chipmunks. Because
Yeah.
at first I saw it run across the yard, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a mouse, sure. Yeah, okay. Which was kind of weird in and of itself that a mouse was running across the yard just as I'm asking to be shown
Had
something.
you asked to see a chipmunk or had you asked to see
No,
a,
I asked to see a chipmunk.
did you really? Okay. So yeah, you're
Yes.
100%. Yeah. Like bang on. That's like,
Right? Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's correct. That is, yes, ma'am, you are smack on. Because at
Yeah.
first, when I saw it running across the yard, I was like, oh, that's not a chipmunk, that's a mouse.
Mm.
Even though that would have been really weird in and of itself to see
Right.
a mouse running across my yard and go right near my car. That would have been really weird. A squirrel? Sure. Sure. Lots of squirrels in my yard, but
Mhm.
not a mouse, right? But it wasn't a mouse I asked for either. And
Mhm.
so I said, oh, that's a mouse. I even said that out loud. Oh, that's a mouse.
Because you're still trying to talk yourself out of what you had manifested. Yeah. Hmm.
And then this little character climbed up on it was a it wasn't a stump, it was a log that had been rolled up into place in my backyard for sitting on, right? There was a couple of them sitting there, right? And climbed right up on there and looked dead at me.
Hmm.
I just imagined it saying, I'm no mouse. And it was not a mouse.
Hmm.
Looked just like Chip and Dale, man. You know, them little cartoon
Mhm.
guys. He had the little speckles on his back and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. That's when I was like, okay, all right. Well,
Better pay attention. Yeah.
yeah, can't hit that with a 10-foot pole. So yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, that's why I said in all of that way to answer your question. Yeah, last week, right up to this week, which I'm pretty much complete with that. I've just a little bit more to go on that score of gathering what I was doing with Jason's work, and then I should be complete with that. But yeah, mostly last week was all about the pain and the mitigation of that. I couldn't, I just couldn't bring myself to do much of anything.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I'm
uh,
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
well, again, this too shall pass, right? I'm aware that, um, So cornered beings who know the time has come are become desperate. And so that's really what I kind of feel has been going on in many ways. Um, so, you know, but that's okay. Again, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it was pretty rough earlier today, but I want to say for some reason, whether on some level or not, you agreed on some level to relieve some of this burden for me because I feel lighter having been here with you
Oh,
this
yay.
evening. So I don't know. Well, you see, sometimes okay, so just recently I've come to realize that some of us actually do that for others,
Mhm,
even if we don't realize it,
mhm.
you know, um, to assist in the transmutation. This is something that I've experienced before as well. That being was not even awake at
Yeah.
all on any sort of level, but they on a larger, more expansive level of all of us, I had this sense that she was transmuting some things out of my field that she wasn't even aware she was doing.
Mhm.
Right. So, in many ways, I feel as though folks are on task, even when they don't realize what they're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When I would go to Reiki shares, one of my friends would literally just ground because of the energy I was pulling. And there would be a bunch of people in the room, all kind of working on each other, but she was grounding for me. Yeah.
Right. So
Mhm.
you're aware of that. But see, she knew she was doing that, right?
She knew she was doing that. I didn't understand why she was doing that for me. Why she felt like she had to ground so much just to stabilize what energy I was pulling through. So I don't know. I didn't understand being a conduit. I had no concept of that at the time. I was just like, oh, okay, I've learned to pull this light in through my crown and out my hands. And and that's really what I thought I was doing. And she had a deeper understanding of it and knew no, it was quite a bit more than that. So yeah.
Yeah. See,
But
and
it just
I
I
just
don't intend it. It just happens. And now when I walk, even I hear in my head every step a code. And so that's what I try to be mindful of is that everywhere I go, it's important that I understand how sacred that is. Um, and I take it that way. So
well, that's lovely. And that's exactly what I meant when I say that we carry our fields with us and they are encoded. Even and I really do feel this is so even for folks who what we might term not awake, right? It's the same thing for them too. It's just okay. So I used to hold it that, first of all, I used to want to just rip the band-aid off. Let's just tell everybody the truth about stuff and get this over with, right? But
mhm.
that's actually I don't feel the same way about that anymore because not everybody is choosing to do that this time around. And they have a right not to if they don't want to, because they may not have even chosen that at all for coming here, you know? Um, it's not about that anymore for me. I just carry it in my field and it's there for those who are ready, right? And the hand is extended for any and all. who want to know more. And I just be myself now. I don't try my best to come let me wake you up because boy, that's what I wanted to do for the longest time.
Yeah, I think there was a program running for a lot of us that was like, yeah, you figure it out and then you go tell everybody, and I'm like, that's just evangelism. That's the same thing as evangelism, and I never liked how that felt to me, that no
Right,
religion ever felt like it fit. So I never followed any of it. So I thought that's just spiritual evangelism, when you try
right.
to, kind of do that with everybody else. And it seemed like even if I would get into a mindset where I would try to do that, it just felt icky in my body. Like I was like, no, this doesn't feel right either. So
Well, I'm
yeah,
glad you're paying attention to that because I'll tell you something I didn't. I
yeah,
I just thought everybody had to know. And if you just only knew what the truth of who you are, you wouldn't behave the way you're behaving. That was
mhm,
my whole thing. But that's just not it's not for me to choose. Everybody is here for their own purposes and and in a lot of Jason's writing he speaks about being sovereign, and that's not sovereignty if I'm trying to force something onto someone else. That's the same as what has been being done to us for time immemorial.
yeah,
So that's not where it's at. I that's why I now see for myself that I can't be doing that. That's not, because not everybody chooses to do that.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, just as you said, some people are meant to stay what we call asleep because maybe they've chosen to only be a transmitter in some way. Maybe they've chosen to be a catalyst. I've met a lot of those. I'm sure we all have, And no, you
Exactly.
can't wake them up anyway because
No.
they're a transmitter who's asleep. They're a catalyst who's, gonna make you change your life. It's just what it is. And
Yep. I was told a long time ago by a psychic that my son chose me as parent because he knew that I would love him unconditionally and that he came here to experience anger.
Mhm.
And well, first of all, she was smack on because that is one angry somebody. Okay. And she couldn't have ever known that. And she actually went a step further to say that he had tried to come in earlier, but he was female and he specifically wanted to experience anger as male.
Mhm.
So he left. Well,
Did
that
you have a miscarriage?
yes, I did. And I always believed that it was that she was female. I always
Mhm.
believed that. I never had any proof of that, but I always believed the child would have been female. Well, the thing of it is, right? So I had that experience. Now I've had several other puzzle pieces along the way of coming to know about children choosing specific people for to be parent, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And then I came across Neil Donald Walsh and a writing that he did, which you anybody can find on my website in the puzzle pieces playlist. It's called The Little Soul and the Sun. And it
I might
just
have that book.
okay. And so
Mhm.
if any of these other puzzle pieces are correct, then we sort of pre-plan our the desired experiences while here before we come through that veil of forgetting.
Mhm.
Then my own son told me prior to his daughter's birth, because he had decided he was not going to have children. And he said, I only have the one child. So he said, I'm sorry you're not going to be a grandparent, but I don't want children. I don't want children. I was like, whatever you want is fine. I get it. I understand. No worries. Well, he changed his mind. He had a dream. And in that dream, a little girl came along and asked if he would be her daddy. And he agreed. And the next thing you know, his girlfriend is pregnant. And he now has a little girl. So all of these puzzle pieces, right? That tells me, again, not everybody came here to experience things the way I want to experience them. To your point about catalysts, some people don't plan on doing any kind of waking up. Mm-hmm. Not at all. They definitely are catalysts. I've had quite a few of those. Mm-hmm. And I think anyone who has gone through a lot of abuse in their lives, regardless of what kind of abuse it is, for me, I know very well that we arranged. I know now. I didn't know it then, of course, but we prearranged some of that.
Yeah.
And that's actually sort of sacred to me now, because I see it in just that light. It's gone into the very forging of who I've become. And it wouldn't have happened without that catalyst. Yep. So yeah, very disingenuous of me to then turn around and hate that person, or, not love them any less, right?
Oh, it's hard. You still have to work through it. It took me a while. And then I wrote a poem called The Catalyst. I think it's on my Flame Poetry page, about somebody who was a big one for me. And it was like, I had so much, like, just animosity and resentment, and until I finally saw what he had pushed me to. So it was like, in so many ways, I felt like he had stolen parts of me, or just smothered my light, or almost tried to, like, steal my energy. And it was all about the complete and total lie I was living in. Honestly, it was about everything I had allowed my life to get to, because of my choices. And then I figured that out, and I was like, oh my gosh. Holy shit, finally a eureka moment that I can work with here. So, and I did, and then I wrote the poem. So
yeah, that's a flipping that perspective, isn't it? From a victim perspective of he did this to me, and over to he did this for me.
For me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way I feel as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't get it twisted. I lived in that victim perspective for a lot of years. A lot of years. Mm-hmm. Jumping from the frying pan into the fire, even, from the first one to the second one, because it just was worse, because I was still holding that victim mentality as well. That's a whole frequency that once and I didn't see it. I really didn't even see it until just in the last, through some conscious conversations with my housemate, Lisa Flamino Rush. She really helped me see that frequency of living in a victim perspective was attracting more of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I didn't even see, even though I wasn't I wasn't in that anymore. But then I finally understood and understood
Good. Yeah.
why that was that I went from the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you hadn't figured it out.
Right. And
Yeah.
I didn't have enough over here, so I got a double dose of it, you know.
You doubled down on it. Yeah. Big wake up call. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I apparently was pretty hard headed for a long time.
I mean, yeah, we don't see it until we see it. There's
That's right. And I
perfect
think it's a
timing for all
perfect
of it.
right. And I think it's a perfect timing thing too, like
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
I got all I squeezed all the good juice out of that perspective, boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Julie, I am so glad that you came and had that we were able to connect
Me too.
this
Thank you
evening.
so much.
Oh
This
no,
has been
thank
really
you.
fun.
Thank you. And I hope you'll come back and chat with me again, especially
I'd love to.
now the page, the Flame Poetry Week. I can put a link to that and folks can find it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's live. Yep. I try to
Okay.
post every day. So
Okay. Well, we'll make sure I'll make sure that's in there. And do you also have an email that folks can, like, if someone's interested, if they saw one of those paintings and they know it's for them,
yep.
is there a way they can contact you?
Yep. I think you have my email address.
I do. Okay. All right. I'll
If
make
you want to
sure.
put that in the details, yeah, that'd be
Okay.
great.
I definitely will do that then. But you're feel free to say it now if you would like.
Sure. It's juliew394 at gmail.com.
Okay. And I'll make sure that it is also in the show more section of this video. Well, I just love that I just think it's so cool that I didn't recognize you. Almost didn't
That's amazing to me. That tells
recognize.
me, yeah, that it maybe I'm appearing as differently as I feel.
Well, you are. You definitely are. And much lighter, like I said, much lighter,
Yeah.
which is always a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to hearing more about your experiences as we go along. Feel free to, hit me up if you want to have another conversation. And I want to extend that out to anyone else who may see this conversation. And, that's what this is all about for me. I feel like, having conscious conversation and sharing the different things that we move through, which can be
Mhm.
hard sometimes, or things that we don't even know, and experiences. I always love talking about experiences too. I'm bringing back Dreamscape. Or no, sorry, Dream Spaces. I used to do a segment on Conscious Conversation Central that we would do shows about the dream space. I'm convinced it's more than just where we work out stuff in our psyche.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you have any interesting dreams, and this is for you yourself, Julie, and anybody else that hears this, you have any interesting dreams that you're not sure what to make of them, or you just know it's more than what you think, you're working on or whatever, and you want to share it, conscious conversation central at gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. Uh, well, for any reason, everybody's always welcome to send me an email. And we'll make sure and get your website in there back in this once it's up and ready.
Okay.
And I'll put a link to the flame poetry.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, no. Thank you, Julie. I'm going to have you sit right there and I want to tell everybody I really hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is just a matter of your perspective and your perception of that perspective in that moment. If it's not in joy, or if you're not drawn and you don't feel drawn to something, then don't do it. But if you're holding yourself back when you're drawn to something, I would ask myself why. Because what if? What if whatever it is you're being drawn to is specifically for you and you're just passing it by because of some programmed condition that you're allowing to get in your head? And so until we meet again, mwah.